What's going on, guys? Welcome along to another video. I'm Matt with DJI, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the Action 4 versus the Action 5 Pro. I will give you my personal opinion on why I would choose the Action 4 if starting out in your motovlogging journey, and then we'll go on to letting you know why I would choose the Action 5 Pro. A little bit of backstory before we get into it then. So I've had this channel for a couple of years now, and I used to run a GoPro 9, had that for a year or so until the GoPro 10 come out, then I brought the 10. I've had continuous problems with the 9 and the 10 to the point where I'd be sending the cameras back, I was sent the media mods back, I was having your typical problems of audio not recording, batteries swelling up, cameras just turning off with a fresh battery. So I made the decision probably about 6 months ago to swap over to DJI, and that's where I bought the Osmo Action 4. And let me tell you, I wish I'd swapped sooner. I genuinely haven't looked back since going to DJI. I just press record and I know the audio is going to work, and that's the main thing. You know you're going to have the footage there when you go to look at it later on, and the audio is going to be connected, and it's just seamless. I am using the 5 on the helmet. I've got the DJI Mic 2 connected inside the helmet, and I've got the 4 on the handlebars looking back at me. What I will do is I'll overlay some of my previous riding with the 4 on my helmet, just so I don't have to keep swapping the cameras over right now. Right now, both cameras are in 4K 30, also white balance, auto exposure, and I've set the EV level to negative 0.3. Let me say, if you picked either of these cameras, you wouldn't be disappointed. But starting off then with the Action 4, some of the reasons why I would pick that over the 5 right now. Obviously, where the 5 has literally just come out in the last few weeks, that means the price is down to about £230 to £250 right now in the UK. That's a really, really good price for the Action 4. Brand new, it's just good to go. You will be happy with the quality that comes out of this. You've got the ability to have normal color profile, or you can go D-Log M, so you can then it gives you a little bit more flexibility with the colors when you come into post-editing process. The battery life is better than the GoPros, well, the GoPro 10 at least. That's what I've compared it against, because that's what I've owned. Ease of use. The audio quality is decent if you don't have a microphone connected, as in like when you're off the bike. And you can still use the DJI Mic 2 on the Action 4. Going back to the quality of the 4, it's going to be good in pretty much every scenario, other than low light. It does struggle a little bit, like most action cameras on the low light side. End of the day, the sensor is not the biggest, and it can only do what it can do. Whereas the newer cameras, they've got a bit of AI advantage over your low light capability. So for me, those are the reasons why I would pick the Action 4. And now if you've got the Action 4 already, you've got to decide if the next reasons that I'm going to say are worth upgrading to you. At the end of the day, it's still an extra purchase, it's not cheap. I've got this channel, and that's how, in my head, I could justify it, and I go and do the purchase. Typically, the same week I go and buy an iPhone 16 Pro. Zoe was not happy. Let's just leave it at that. Okay, we've talked about the 4, let's move over to the 5 Pro then. Some of the features and the extras that it's come with this year. It's not a game changer, some of the game changer. It'd definitely be a game changer for me in the channel, and how I can utilise this single camera. When I say that, I mean, it's got like a 36 megapixel camera capability, so I can take my thumbnail shots using the 5 Pro rather than using my phone or taking a DSLR. So it means I can just have less things with me when I go and do my videos, do my reviews. I've mentioned I've got the DJI Mic 2 in the helmet. Well, for the 5, you can now have 2 Mic 2s connected to the same camera. Whereas before, you'd need to have the receiver attached to the camera that there's in the Action 4 to be able to have 2 Mic 2s connected at the same time. I've got the receiver because I've got the package, the bundle they do, but again, it comes back to taking less stuff, having less things to remember, more settings to check on. And the way I'd use this kind of dual mic capability is going to be in two main reasons, or two main areas. The first one being, if me and Zoe are to go out and we want to do a review on a bike, or we want to talk about something and we've pulled over, I can have the Action 5 set up on a tripod or on the side. We can both have our mics, and in there we can both talk to the camera and it'll pick us both up without having to have an extra camera with a mic or the receiver connected in. And in the second main way I'm going to use it on the channel is, obviously I'm going to have the mic in the helmet, but the second mic I'll put in my backpack or in my jacket, and in that one will purely be used to pick up the sound of the engine or the sound of the exhaust whilst I'm riding. So it just gives me an extra layer of capability, flexibility when editing. Because obviously I have the mic and the helmet set up in a certain way that it's not picking up a massive amount of outside noise. So having something that's dedicated to the exhaust could come in handy. And it's definitely something I'll do a video on, testing it and giving my opinions on. I've not done it before, so it will be interesting to see how it works. The Action 5 Pro now comes with an increased battery size of 1950 milliamp hours. I think the 4 was like a 1780. So with the new improved battery size at 1080p, you're going to get over 4 hours. Me personally, I don't film in 1080. 4K is what I go, but still that's going to get me even longer record time than the 4. What I like with the 4 is it already beat the GoPro. Whenever I had the GoPro on the handlebars and the 4 on the helmet, the GoPro would always die first over the 4. So now the 5's going to be even longer. And it just means I can, again, take less stuff. I can take less batteries. I don't have to remember to charge it whilst I'm stationary and I'm doing my walk-arounds or whatever. But what is nice to see, because GoPro are ridiculous for, is they like to change their batteries quite regularly. DJI batteries are compatible between the 4 and the 5 and the 3. I don't have a 3. So I've got a couple of 4 batteries that will fit in the 5, and the bigger 5 battery will also fit on the 4. So if I have them charged up in the power bank, power pack, carry case, whatever you want to call it, I don't have to remember which one goes in which camera. They'll just work either way. Now I mentioned the low light capabilities on the 4 is not the best. Well, on the 5 they've got a super night option which has increased the low light capability using AI enhancement. So what that means for us is potentially action cameras will be usable at night. Now I am going to do a full low light test between the 4 and the 5 at night, just so I can compare them, because probably like most people out there, I've not really done much night filming because usually it's unworkable and unusable, so it's just pointless wasting my time and yours going out and filming something that you can't really see. Now I'm going to go and pull over and we're going to continue why I would pick the 5 over the 4. The OLEDs front and rear on the 5 are bigger and brighter, which means when you are outside and you're trying to look at the footage or look at what is you're recording, you can just see things that are more clearer. So there's just more space. It's just everything's a little bit bigger, which, let's face it, we can all appreciate things being bigger. Continuing on talking about the screens then, they've added a kind of theme for an always on display for the front and the rear. Now, what I mean by that is I am recording at the minute, and you can see on the front there, it's got the time, it's got the camera, and it shows me what I'm in. So I'm in 4K 30 rock steady. On the back is exactly the same. And you can adjust what information is shown on them, or any information at all, or you can just have the footage on the little front. For me personally, I prefer this because the 4 just has a little red blinking light unless I have the front screen on all the time. And when the camera is on my helmet, having the front screen on is going to drain more battery, so I don't have that on. So I normally have it on for like a minute so I can make sure I'm framed up properly, the audio is working, and then when I start riding it will turn off. But then I quite regularly just have a little glance in the mirror to see if it's still recording, and I've got to look out for that tiny little blinking red LED. Whereas now, I just need to look out for the big information on the front. As long as I can see that, I know it's recording. The price of this unit then, this thing is coming in at £329 for the basic combo. And if you are buying this for the first time, you might want to go for the creator combo, adventure combo, can't remember what it's called, put on the screen. I think that's about 409, but then that will come with the microphone as well. Highly recommend getting the DJI Mic 2. It is really versatile, and it's just, again, easy to use and easy to control the audio coming in. So when you are riding a bike, it is very noisy and windy, and being able to control that audio level from the camera, it's another step up from GoPro, because you can't do that, you have to do it in post. But yeah, £329, good price. Bearing in mind the new GoPro 13 Black is £400, so there you go, there's a saving of 40 quid. 40 quid, good maths. Saving of £70. As mentioned, the Action 4 does have different colour profiles, i.e. normal colour 10-bit or D-Log. Well, the Action 5 has got 4 different colour profiles. Now you've got normal 8-bit, normal 10-bit, HLG profile, or D-Log M profile. In a nutshell, if you're not comfortable with doing any form of colour grading, colour correcting, just put it in normal 10-bit. The footage will be more than usable all day long. This whole video has currently been filmed in D-Log M. And yes, the 4 does have the D-Log M, but with the 5, it's got a few extra stops, so 13.5, which means your colour depth and your high dynamic range is going to be just that little bit better. And lastly then, another reason why I picked the 5 over the 4 is they've added something called subject tracking. Now, give me a second. Subject tracking means it's going to take that 4K footage and it's going to put a little box on the screen, and it's going to downgrade it to 2.7K, but it's going to track the subject, and then the footage is going to kind of follow you, almost like the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. That's got a proper gimbal that can do 360. This can't do that. This is a very basic version of what that can do. So if I was to move around the shot, you can see it follows me. Now, one thing I wish this did have is you've got the DJI Mimo app and you can connect to the camera. One thing this has over GoPro is when you press record, you can still view the footage on the phone, whereas GoPro just turns the screen black and you can't see it and you can't make sure everything's working. But yeah, so DJI app, you can view it whilst recording. What I wish was when you were subject tracking is it would also show you the box around you. So if I had the camera over there and I was back there at the bike or filming or whatever, that I could be looking at my phone and I could see the box and I could see it's tracking, and I've just got that little bit of inner security that I know it's still working. Unfortunately, at the minute it doesn't. You never know, they might upgrade the app and do an update where it means that would work. Would be nice. And there we go, guys. Those are my reasons why, if you haven't got either, I would buy a 4 or I'd buy a 5. Me personally, obviously, I've got both. But I would spend the extra couple of quid to get the 5. I think the added features for this model outweighs saving, what was it, 80 quid between getting the 4 and the 5. I think it just gives you a much rounder package with all the updates. If you want to grab yourself a 4 or a 5 or a DJI Mic 2, I'll leave a link in the description for all the items I've used today. Obviously, they're going to be Amazon affiliate links, so you don't pay anything extra. I'll get a little kickback and we're both happy. Well guys, I hope you found this video useful. If you have, give it a thumbs up. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. Helps us keep going over here at DSR. Nothing else to say, but until the next one, ride safe.